Welcome to this tutorial about the Counter Release 5 metric types. In the Counter Code of Practice, metric types are the system of measurement used to record and report on the usage of publishers' websites. Release 5 introduces new metric types, which we will explain in this tutorial. We will also show you how to use these new metric types when calculating cost per use. User actions are an important metric for usage of journals, books, and multimedia. Investigations and requests are the two metric types which show user actions in Release 5 of the Code of Practice. Investigations measure expressions of interest in a content item or title. For example, a user viewing an abstract would count as an investigation. Requests measure accesses to a content item or title. For example, a user downloading a journal article or a book chapter or viewing a video would count as a request. As you can see in this diagram, accessing an item is also considered an expression of interest. This means that when a user accesses a content item, the action will be counted as both a request and an investigation. We will now take a look at the definitions of the three different types of requests. Total item requests means the total number of times the full text of a content item was downloaded or viewed. This is equivalent to the full text download counts in Counter Release 4 JR1 reports. Unique item requests means the number of unique content items, for example chapters, requested by a user. If a user requests the same content item twice, it will count as 2 total item requests, but only 1 unique item request. Unique title requests means the number of unique titles, for example books, requested by a user. This metric provides comparable usage statistics for ebooks regardless of how the host delivers content, whether as a whole book or as a chapter. Here are the definitions of the three different types of investigation. Total item investigations means the total number of times a content item or information related to a content item was investigated by a user. Unique item investigations means the number of unique content items, for example chapters, investigated by a user. Just like the unique item requests, if a user performs 2 actions on a single content item, for example viewing the abstract followed by the full text, it will count as 2 total item investigations, but only 1 unique item investigation. Unique title investigations means the number of unique titles, for example books, investigated by a user. The unique item request is an important metric type for calculating cost per use of journal titles, as the example in this scenario shows. A library, Camford, purchases 2 journal subscriptions for 2018, Journal X for £25,000 and Journal Y for £10,000. At the end of the year, Camford's librarian, Barbara, runs a Release 5 TR-J1 report to check the full text usage of each journal, excluding open access articles. Journal X is showing 60,000 unique item requests, while Journal Y shows just 200. Barbara therefore tells her head librarian that while Journal X is more expensive, it has a much better cost per unique download. The calculation looks like this. Journal X, £25,000 divided by 60,000 downloads equals 42 pence per unique item request. Journal Y, £10,000 divided by 200 unique downloads equals £50 per unique item request. If Camford must choose a journal to cancel, it's likely to be Journal Y. This scenario explains how user actions are counted and reported as requests or investigations. Our user, Susan, is researching the history of antibiotics on publisher platform Alpha. From a list of search results, she opens 3 article abstracts and a video record. All 4 records are different, but 2 of the articles are from the same journal. The counts are 4 total item investigations, 4 unique item investigations, and 3 unique title investigations. That's because 2 of the articles are from the same journal. No requests have been made at this stage, so all of the request metrics report 0. After reading the abstracts, Susan downloads PDFs for 2 of the articles, both from the same journal. This increases the total item investigations to 6. The unique item investigations remain at 4, and the unique title investigations remain at 3. However, there are now 2 total item requests, 2 unique item requests, and 1 unique title request. Remember, both the PDFs were from the same journal. To calculate cost per download or cost per use, our librarian, Barbara, should use the 2 unique item requests. Let's move on to a different set of Release 5 metric types, and that's the 4 different types of search metric. Search is regular means the number of times a user searches a database when they have actively chosen that database from a list of options, or there is only one database available to search. Search is automated means the number of times a user searches a database when they have not actively chosen that database from a list of options. That is, search is automated is recorded when the platform offers a search across multiple databases by default, and the user has not elected to limit their search to a subset of those databases. Search is platform means the number of times a user searches a database regardless of the number of databases involved in the search. And search is federated means the number of times a search is run remotely by a computer. Going back to our researcher, Susan, she's looking at the history of antibiotics, and Publisher Platform Alpha only has one database. Susan runs a search for history and antibiotics. The counts are 1 for search is regular, 1 for search is platform, and 0 for search is automated or search is federated. For a database like this, the cost per use calculation may be related to searches rather than full-text downloads. By contrast, if Susan runs the same search on a different publisher platform, which includes multiple databases, she would record 0 search is regular, 1 search is automated, 1 search is platform, and again, 0 search is federated. If she were to then select the History of Medicine database and rerun her search, she would still have 1 search is automated, but there would now be 1 search is regular and 2 search is platform, as well as 0 search is federated. Alternatively, if Susan were to use an API to search the publisher platform, the count for that activity would only show in search is federated. Now we've covered both usage and search metrics, let's look at the last metric type in Release 5, access denials. Sometimes known as turnaways, 2 varieties of access denial metric are tracked in Release 5. No license, which is counted when a user is unable to access something because their institution does not have a license to the content, and limit exceeded, which is counted when a user is unable to access something because their institution's cap on the number of simultaneous users has been exceeded. In this scenario, Susan is still researching the history of antibiotics on Publisher Platform Alpha. From a list of search results, she opens 3 article abstracts and 2 video records. Her institution has not subscribed to the video database, and she's therefore denied access. Because she's tried to access 2 video records, that would be recorded as 2 no-license counts. If Susan were to repeat her attempt to access one of the video records 5 minutes later, the count would increment to no-license 3. High no-license counts may suggest to Barbara that she should investigate the costs of subscribing to the video database. By contrast, let's assume that Susan is undertaking the same search and her institution has a concurrency-limited subscription to the video database. If Susan's usage exceeds that cap, the counts would be limit exceeded to rather than no license to. Just like no license, however, high limit exceeded counts may suggest that Barbara should investigate the costs of increasing the concurrency cap for the video database so that more users can access it simultaneously. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions about this tutorial, please contact us at compliance@counterusage.org and we will be pleased to answer your questions. You can also learn more about Counter Release 5 by downloading our friendly guide from www.projectcounter.org. And of course, please watch out for more foundation classes from Counter coming soon.